The Chang International Circuit.
This is the Chang International Circuit. We start off with the Underbone 150cc. Corner 12 is the one we will always draw your attention to here, because coming into the final corner, normally the riders are 5, 6, 7 abreast, and there will be chaos on the last lap. But otherwise, other than that, corner 12, it's a pretty tough track to negotiate.
It certainly is a tough track, especially in this 150 class to break away, because what happens is that you can make your way through the back part of the circuit, get 1 or 2 bike lengths straight, but then when you come out of turn 1 on the little 150, head down that big long back straight, you seem to get sucked up by the ensuing pack. So we haven't seen anybody be able to make a break, especially in this 150 class, and that's what makes it so exciting. We had yesterday about 10 to 15 guys within 2 seconds, so expect an absolute cracker out there.
Number 1 on the grid was Hazik Fairuz, but he had a bit of a nightmare. He only picked up 1 point yesterday, 15th overall. He actually finished 10th, but got a penalty for going too wide on the track.
Yeah, what he did was he went off the side of the track and onto, you'll see a green painted outside edge of the track. The rule is if you run onto that too many times, you get a penalty. He received that penalty, lost valuable points. So unfortunately for him, he finished down the track yesterday.
Alongside him, you've got Izzat Zaidi. This is on the Superpole results. He wasn't the fastest when it came to qualifying, but when it came to the Superpole, Izzat Zaidi picking up 2nd spot. Izzat's had an inconsistent season, the young Malaysian. But he's looking fairly confident there as we carry on our little route alongside the grid. These were all from Superpole in the qualification yesterday. Alongside Akid on the front row, we've got Hafiza Rofa, who was involved very much in yesterday's race, led several times, but he was another who fell away towards the end.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad race for him. He was in that leading group, but I mean, you know, he was just going into that last corner, one of the guys that were battling for that leading positions. It doesn't look good when you see that he finished 5th yesterday, but I'll tell you what, with a blink of an eye, he could have won. So definitely keep an eye on him in this race today. Hopefully it all turns around for him.
On to the 2nd row of the grid. And you've got Akid Aziz, who qualified fastest, who won yesterday's race. He did it really well, actually, Akid Aziz. It was his 2nd podium of the season, a win to add to a 3rd place in Sepang, a DNF 2nd time in Sepang. But he looked composed, he looked in good nick, did Akid Aziz.
Yeah, well, he needed that win yesterday too, because that's lifted him in the standings to 3rd position at the moment. So I'm sure that he's got his eyes on another good result today, so he can perhaps make his way further in this championship. Sits 3rd at the moment. He's aiming for 1st. Good opportunity to do that today.
McKinley Calpaz is the man who is in 1st place. The Filipino UMA Racing, two UMA Racing teams going against each other. We saw Akid Aziz and Hazik Fairuz. Well, McKinley Calpaz, he got a win and a 3rd place in the 1st round in Sepang. Didn't pick up a podium yesterday, but picked up 10 useful points. He's on the 2nd row of the grid, P5. Alongside him, the veteran, 36 years of age, Ahmed Fazli Sham in the 1 XOX team, 18th and 26th in Sepang, so didn't pick up any points, no points yesterday either. And that's disappointing for him, for such an experienced rider from such a good position on the grid.
Yeah, absolutely. We expected a little bit more from him yesterday, but it wasn't to be. But as we know, anything can happen in this class, and there's a whole load of different riders that we haven't even mentioned that could feature in this class. I'll stress again, Des, within 2 seconds yesterday there were 18 people, so that means that you can be 2 seconds off the win and not even score any points.
Admiral Arif Musa on the Honda. Uzi Honda Racing, another of the many Malaysians that we have on the circuit. They've got a great grounding in the Cub Prix. Admiral Arif Musa has come through that, and on to P8, another of the 1 XOX teams. This is Faiz Zekri Sabri. Faiz, again, 8th on the track, but you look at the points, he only picked up 2 points and 3 points for 5 points in all throughout the season. He'll be hoping to do a little bit better on the Yamaha. And then next to him in P9, we have got Effendi Rosley. Now, a policeman and 3rd place yesterday. He gave us a wonderful post-race interview, did Effendi.
It certainly was. He was very happy to come from that 9th position. He rode his heart out for the team one for all, and what a result it was for him to get on the podium. It was a tight finish, but he managed to do it.
And he's got himself 2nd place in the overall standing, 7 points adrift of Effendi Rosley. So he is on the 3rd row of the grid. And Effendi really was, we get the interviews. Wheeling will be down there interviewing the riders, the 1, 2, 3 at the end of each race. And you get some real characters. Sometimes you get the guys just saying thanks to the sponsors and they're very cool. But Effendi Rosley was thrilled to bits with his 3rd place yesterday.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the characters of the sport, the characters of this 150 class.
It will be 8 laps of the track once we get going. And will be the formation lap, of course, where the riders will just try to get a little bit of heat into the tyres, although you don't need a lot of heat out there today. It is stiflingly warm and potentially up to 45 degrees. Oh, we've got a problem there.
Yep, not sure who that is, but bike stalled, so the marshal's just giving them a bit of a helping hand.
Right, let's have a look at the row and how they start. So Hazik Farouz, bike 27, alongside Izzat Zaidi, bike 98 on the 1st row, with Hafiza Rufa from the 1XOX team on the Yamaha. Yamaha's in the first 6 positions. Akid Aziz, yesterday's winner. McKinley Kyle Paz, the championship leader from the Philippines, and Ahmed Fazli Sham, the veteran, on P6 on row 2. Admiral Arif Musa, Yuzi Honda racing the first of the Hondas. Faiz Zekri on the Yamaha in 8, and Effendi Rosley 3rd place yesterday in P9. Pirapong Luboypeng, who was out of the points yesterday, but the young Thai is the best of the Thais. He's 10th on the grid. Richie Turo from Indonesia and Razaiman Mohammed Saeed from the Cardinals racing team complete the first 4 rows. On to row 5, Gupita Kreshna, he crashed out yesterday. Charles Amin from the SND Factory Racing, his teammate. So they'll be hoping to pick up points. Fitri Ashraf Razali from Cardinals, another of the Malaysians competing here. Wawan Wello on 16th. Now, Wawan is 5th in the overall standings with 31 points and is always worth keeping an eye on. Easy team in the all-yellow livery. Ayman Azman and Murabil Vitoni. Murabil was in the points yesterday as well on the Pro Liner, from the Pro Liner Racing team. Taking us further down, Fernando Mazzato, Philippines. He was 2nd coming into this weekend. No points picked up yesterday. Aldi Satya Mahendra from Yamaha Racing Indonesia, youngster looking to pick up some experience, as is Agung Fakrul. Onto row 8, and Mohammed Shah Khairul. Travis Hall, the young Aussie, who I know you like to keep a bit of an eye on, and Luth Harith completing row 8. On row 9, Waiwaji Trilaksana, he crashed out. The Can Lock, good experience for the veteran from Vietnam. Gun Mi on bike number 43, completing that row. So many potential competitors. As you just go through that, you can see the number of people who we anticipate to be in the leading group of 15 or 16, and it is a group of maybe 10 or 12 riders. It's really difficult to pick out who compete in this one.
If it's anything like yesterday, it's just going to be too difficult to pick a winner. We know that it's going to be a tactical race. There's 2 parts of this racetrack. There's the back section where you can get away a little bit, but the problem is that out of turn 1, that big long back straight, due to the slipstreaming effect that these 150s make, you just get sucked back into the slipstream. So the best thing is to conserve your energy, stay somewhere near the front and stay out of trouble. That's the big thing, to stay out of trouble until that final lap, when you've got to give it everything you've got. We
had a quick shot there of Fernando Mazzato. He'll be looking to make up for a disappointing day yesterday. Philippines with McKinley Kyle Paz and Fernando Mata really enjoyed themselves in Sepang on races 1 and 2 for this series. These Underbone riders didn't go to Australia, but they're back in here for their 3rd and 4th races. It's 10 races in the season, and in the pit lane looking relaxed, if a little bit self-conscious, and we are all just about getting ready. Your pole positions in Underbone, not exactly that important, but you'd rather be at the front and at the back.
Well, absolutely. Anywhere on the front 3 or 4 rows, they say, is good, but it's a mental thing to get that pole position. Very important for the bragging rights going into the races, but as we saw yesterday, it means nothing.
Hazik on pole position, extreme right in the purple livery. Behind him, Akid Aziz, his teammate. They are underway. Hazik gets off to a very solid start, and he takes everybody away with him, and the Uma Racing boys there's a crash right at the back. and a real problem as that one bike goes sliding into the sidewall.
That was a big one. We'll get a replay of that. But meanwhile, it is Haziq Farouz out in front with the Zat Zaidi. I think he got a really good start as well up there on the red machine, just to your right. Adib Rosley's up there too. So as they head down that back straight into the braking area for the first time, Des.
Red flags are out.
Okay, so the riders now will be putting their hands up, and that means that the medical team and everybody will be attending to the riders and moving the debris off the track. So let's hope that that situation gets sorted out.
It really was an incredibly spectacular. It was at the back of the pack. We were focused on Haziq and a solid start that he had made, but the red flag is immediately out, and there were 5 or 6 riders who were involved. And once that carnage starts, it's really difficult because you're focused on getting a good start, and the last thing you're thinking of, Steve, is avoiding any trouble.
Yeah, well, it's yeah, that looks like it is. Travis Hall's one of those riders that have gone down, unfortunately.
So Travis Hall, bike number 31, and that bike is in not a good way. I hope Travis is okay.
Yeah. Didn't quite catch the other number on the other bike there. That's Hafiza Rofa, unfortunately, who was involved in that as well there. So there's 2 machines at least, and we know there was another one that went down over to the right. But you can see the impact there. Front flat tyre on Travis's bike, and Hafiza Rofa's bike there has got a flat rear tyre. So a lot of impact there as the riders come back around to the grid. And they'll be wondering what's going on, who was involved in that. Definitely on the riders' minds at the moment is, well, what's happened? Why is it a red flag? Is there anything on the track that I need to worry about for the restart? Was there any oil? Because they've got no idea what's happened at this point. But everyone being brought back into the pit lane at the moment.
Very understandable, because it's right in the middle of the main straight where all the debris will be. As you can see, the skid marks, I mean, all the debris is
there'll be
being cleared up.
There'll be a lot to clear up there, because it was pretty much on the bike line. I think that is Gupta Kresna.
Well, Gupita's had an interesting weekend, but at least he's up and walking, and his bike looks like it's being fixed.
Yeah, so that's good. He's managed to get, he was one of the guys involved in that incident. He's got his bike into the pit lane, so hopefully they can fix that up and get him out there. That'd be good to see, but yeah, unfortunately, not a good way to start the weekend off. But this racing, this 150 class, there's just so many guys there. It was really important.
We're getting a medical update, and all the riders are reported okay, which is great, because that was a spectacular bit of carnage in there. But all the riders are being called okay. 1 or 2 bruises, no doubts.
Yeah, so that's...
Okay, and they will recommence the start in 1 minute.
Right, well, just time to regather your thoughts. Not much that the teams can do to any of the broken bikes in a minute. Hopefully Gupta Kresna can get his machine going. They were making some sort of adjustments to that. Only enough time for the team managers and the crew chiefs to tell the riders that everyone's okay, put it out of your mind, get back on your bike, get out there and give it everything you got. And that's what these young guys will do. They're keen to go, keen to trot, but wherever you're watching, all the riders involved, we're getting the word that they're all okay. So don't need to. It's really good news.
It was at the back, on the start line. It was at the back. Travis Hall was certainly involved.
Yeah, I would say, looking at it, we haven't had a review. You can see.
Well, that was the rider that went flying over onto the right-hand side. He lost control. It was. The other rider, we've mentioned 2 of the riders. The one who I think is still getting treatment is Le Can Loc from Vietnam, from Honda Racing Vietnam, and I think he's the rider who's getting treatment on the side. But from what we understand, and it's second-hand reporting, what we understand, he is conscious.
and as right as you can be after getting thrown over the handlebars at that speed. But without actually seeing that incident, it almost is as if one of the bikes stalled off the line, and Travis ran into the back of him, and then that set things in motion. You can see everybody discussing it at the moment as to what's happened, and they will be told now that everything's okay. But this is just one of those classes where it's so tight. It really is tight on track. Massive crowd here to see this today too. Good to see.
It is. But they'll be seeing that Lacanlock is still getting a little bit of treatment, a lot of treatment there. He actually was caught up in the incident, but he was able to hold onto his bike and then lost control and went into the side wall.
Yeah. It's
and hitting a side wall at what they'd be up to 60 or 70 or maybe 80 kilometers per hour by that time.
Number 79 is Vitriashev Razal.
Okay, just while we're waiting to get things up and running, let's just have a look back to yesterday's race in the Underbone 150. We're on a red flag for race number 2 when we will recommence in a while, but let's just have a look at yesterday's race. So this is what happened on Saturday, and this was impressive enough. In the end, it will be Akid Aziz from P number 4 who would take the victory, but his teammate Hazik Farouz was the man who made many of the headlines. He made a very good start, Hazik, as well, and in the purple livery, the UMA Racing team looked in fine form. Hazik could have an interesting afternoon, leading as they come into the corner at the end of lap 1. He would end up 15th, Steve Martin.
Yeah, he certainly would. It was all looking pretty good for him, but he did manage to work his way back through the field, and unfortunately for him, that was because he ran off onto off the side of the track too many times. So unfortunately for him, all that hard work had come undone. But there were a few crashes along the way, and you can see the Team X101 there, not happy with that one, and their rider going down. But it was the number 28 out front, Hafiza Rofa, who led the way for a lot of the race, and was doing a pretty good job at breaking away, just like we said, through this back part of the circuit. But as they come onto the start-finish line, you can see how close that group was. They soon caught him up there.
They certainly did, and this was Hafiza Rofa, who's been involved in a crash today, but there he is at the front alongside Warren Wello. Again, 1 or 2 more incidents towards the back. I think that was Gupita Kreshna, who was crashing out at the tail, so he's had an interesting day as well. Gupita Kreshna, we're expecting a little bit more of him. He got up okay, so the medics is a theme of this weekend for the Underbone, Steve.
It certainly is, and the thing that we have noticed as we have a look at the replay here is we've been told that it doesn't matter if it's Asia Road Racing here or MotoGP, everybody gets the same top quality treatment. That's why we love coming to this chain circuit.
Then we're coming down to the final end. Akid gets the perfect line into the corner, keeps it tight, there's no room to get in front of him, and Akid Aziz it was who went on to take the victory for his 2nd podium of the season, to the applause and acclaim of his team, and it moved him into 3rd place into the championship, 10 points behind McKinley Kalpaz. So that was yesterday. This is the UMA Racing team today, waiting for a restart because we had a red flag after a crash on the start line of today's Underbone 150cc. That will obviously push our schedule back a little bit throughout the day.
It was a little bit of an UMA Racing battle yesterday too. Of course, there's 2 UMA Racing teams here, the Maju Motor Asia team and also the Philippines team. So a little bit confusing out there with plenty of UMA Racing fettled bikes on the grid, but definitely a good one to be on. There's the high rev Tisaki team, which Travis Hall runs for. That's Gummi at the moment. And unfortunately for them, I don't think we'll be seeing Travis Hall back out on the track in this one, but good to see Gummi ready to rock and roll. The young 14-year-old. Everybody ready for this race to get underway.
Again, there's still a little bit of debris on the track. That's what we're waiting for, and there's some treatment being given out. So they're the 3 riders. There's the confirmation. Hafiza, Lacan. Lacan is the one I was most concerned about because he's the guy who hit the wall, and he was out of control when he hit the wall. That was the worrying element. He wouldn't have been able to curl up and brace for the impact.
Yeah.
Right, let's have a look at the start once again. For obvious reasons, we've been cautious in showing you this. So look towards the back of the grid, and just to the extreme right of Travis Hall. He gets caught up. There's a couple of riders there in trouble, and Travis Hall, he gets caught.
That's, oh yeah, that is, yeah. Well,
so that's Hafiza.
Rofer, he's stalled. He's had some sort of mechanical problem there. Travis Hall's had nowhere to go. He's run into the back of him, and then he's been run over by Lican Locks. So unfortunately, that looks terrible, but the good news is everyone's okay. Just have another look there. He's got the problem with the bike on the number 28, the green bike there. Travis Hall, nowhere to go, runs into the back of him, and then gets run over by Lican Lock. Lican Lock gets off the bike and just taps the wall. So unfortunate, but good to see everyone's okay. Plenty of runoff there.
Well, now we know all the riders are okay. That's spectacular action to look into.
Yeah, but there's nothing you can do off the start line like that. It's just a part of any start. It can happen, especially when your bike, for whatever reason, fails to run. We don't know what the reason was for the number 28.
Well, Vutan on from Honda Racing, his teammate is okay. He'll be a little bit shaken up because the guy he's been talking to, well, all season, he'll be very concerned about him. Mentally, you've got to be strong.
He will be, but the thing is that his crew chief will have got the news before us about him being okay. So what he will do is his crew chief will be saying, don't worry, he's all good. And as soon as you know that, it's all okay. You can reset yourself and away you go. So an unfortunate situation, but you know, all these guys are professional out there, and they're all getting out there. All that debris cleaned off now. So really looking forward to it.
When we recommence, it'll be a 6-lap race.
And the other thing that they'll do in a situation like this, obviously to save time, is they'll do a quick start procedure as well. So we won't get the grid girls on the front or anything like that. They'll roll up, perhaps do a warm-up lap, and then away they go, or they may just go and just have to wait and see when that happens, but it will be the quick start procedure.
Well, big crowd on hand. You wanted excitement, boys and girls. There's a little bit of excitement for you at the start of the day.
All wearing red and white up there, something to do with the football last night, perhaps, Des?
Not allowed to mention it. We're at the Chang International Circuit. This is the second of the warm-up laps that the riders will take in the Underbone 150cc. We talked about the size of the grid, the actual number of competitors on the grid, and that was one of the things that caused Travis Hall the problem. He was just trying to find a little bit of space. Suddenly, Hafiza appeared in front of him, a stalled bike.
Yep, absolutely. Nothing you can do. You could see he actually went for the brakes, but there was nowhere for him to go, and he ran into the back of Hafiza Rofer, and unfortunately, that's the end of the weekend for those riders. Unfortunately for Travis Hall, not a good weekend. Didn't have a good race yesterday, and not a good way to start the day today, but good to hear that those 3 riders involved in that accident are all in generally okay condition. So you can just see everybody now as they head around the tracks recouped. They're not really speeding around to the start line. The reason for that is they're just like letting everything calm down a little bit.
You've been there many times in your career, Steve, I'm sure.
Certainly have. The last thing you want to be doing now is sitting on that grid, waiting and waiting and waiting for everybody to get themselves around. So you pretty much just want to get there and be at that grid for the little time possible.
We will be having a quick start when we come back. Waluelo is one of the first ones back into position. Akid Aziz, bike number 13, want to keep a lookout for him. On pole is bike number 27, Haziq Farouz, both from the UMA Racing team. Haziq finished 10th yesterday, but was demoted down to 15th overall for just a single point. So he's already falling behind in the championship standings, 32 points adrift of McKinley Kyle Paz. But there he is. There's still another 7 races, including this one.
I guess if you want to keep an eye out for somebody in this race, somebody who's got a lot to gain or lose, keep an eye on the number 13, Kid Aziz, the guy that won the race yesterday, because he is on a charge. There he is on his way up in this championship. He sits third at the moment. He's only finished 2 races and he's had a 3rd place in the win. He had a DNF in the race 2 at round 1. So the Kid Aziz needs every point he can get. Kyle McKinley Paz yesterday didn't win, but he got some valuable points which kept him at the front of the championship table in 1st position.
Yeah, got himself a 6th place, but as so often in Underbone 150, it could have been anywhere from 1 down to 10.
Well, we saw that replay of the race again, didn't we? And I mean, 6. It sounds bad, but with the flick of a coin, he could have won that race. So nothing wrong with the way that Gilly Cole Paz is riding at the moment.
Is a tidy on bike number 98 on the Yamaha, the RCBX MJ Yamaha racing team.
Definitely one to watch. He's always up there.
Right, 6 laps of the track once we get going for the 2nd time. Hopefully a cleaner start. It was a good start last time for Haziq Farus. He was leading. They are indeed underway. Haziq this time is caught cold.
There's a,
oh, it's the formation lap, sorry. My apologies.
That's all right. Just things back underway. Everyone making sure their bikes are running good. And they'll come round shortly. You can just see them there sitting up, just warming up those tyres, because they're running the slicks for the 2nd year now. The thing with these slicks is they really do need to be warm. If they do go cold, they don't actually work, believe it or not. They're worse than road tyres for grip, so do have to get the grip into them by getting that abrasion from the track. Warms the tyres up, and boy, do they offer some really good grip.
Well, they'll be used to the circuit now. They had practice, they've had 3 practice sessions, they've had qualification, they've had Super Bowl. They've had a couple of laps just to see what the weather conditions are like today, and they are steaming hot as they come back into the technical part of the warm-up lap. The vast grandstand at the Chang International Circuit overlooking.
Now, this race is going to be spectacular because it's going to be an absolute cracker. Shortened to 6 laps means there is no time to settle into the race. You've got to go from the start, because if you get dropped, you're going to be out of the top 20. That's how close this is going to be. It's going to be a really good race to watch.
Ahmed Fazli Sham is one I'd like to see get a couple of points on the board. Bike number 46 is the veteran from Malaysia on the 1XOX Yamaha.
I guess the most experienced man out there, or the man that should theoretically be able to take it away this year, is that man on the number 98 machine, Zat Zaidi, because he finished 2nd in the championship last year, and with Helmi Asman moving on to 600s, you'd think that he thought he might have this one in the bag, but as we always know, when somebody leaves, there's always somebody really good to take their place.
He's at no points at Sepang, just 4 points yesterday for a 12th place finish for Izzat Zaidi from 2nd place on the grid.
Definitely got work to do, hasn't he?
Right, this time. Take 2.
Here's your pole man.
Haziq Farus, the young Malaysian. Looking forward to see how he develops, and behind him, Akid Aziz, his compatriot and teammate. He just settles into his position on P4.
Just settling the grid down.
Fendi Rosley 3rd yesterday.
And
we are underway for real this time. Haziq looked like he had a very good start, almost a jump starting, but he's got himself a nice healthy lead. This time there is no contact from the riders behind. My focus was very much on the back of the pack on this occasion. Everybody, thankfully, is safely through turn 1.
what a brilliant start by the man in pole position. A brilliant job by him to maintain that, but you'll see by the end of this straight. Oh, look, we have got a... Is that good with the Kresna at the back? We saw a problem. It could be. We'll find out later on, but could be. But meanwhile, up front, is that... whoa!
Is that... sorry, Haziq went through. Also going through was Akid Aziz. I'm wondering if McKinley Carl-Paz is in there as well.
Rosley's there as well, and he was trying to dive up the inside. Yeah, there's McKinley Carl-Paz back there in about 3rd or 4th position at the moment.
Akid Aziz is the man who leads yesterday's race winner, but he's soon gobbled up by the pack as they come over the slight little brow of the hill, accelerate down, and the 1XOX riders hunker down and turn into this more technical part of the course. Beautiful conditions. Riders just trying to make sure there's a little bit of elbow room, enough room for them to get around these sweeping corners. And there is a nightmare weekend. Gupita Krishna once again.
Yeah, unfortunately, whatever the problem was with his bike, they did try to fix that, but they didn't manage to do that. But it's Dib Rosley's up there, and
Ahmed Fazli Sham is the man who's leading.
Yeah, good to see him up the front there. He was strong in the start of the races yesterday as well. But those Uma Racing Yamahas are all up there as well. So you definitely need to keep an eye out on all of those riders because they're all very fast and capable of taking this one out.
Richie Thoreau also making a bit of a move through the middle of the pack. He's on bike 179 as they come into the notorious corner 12 for the very first time. One of 6 laps completed as we go through. It's McKinley Carl-Paz from Akid Aziz and Fernando Mazzato, Juan Wello, Fazli Sham and Faiz Zakri making up the front 6. Haziq started on pole, down in 7th.
Well, Fernando Mazzato had a terrible race yesterday, but he's right where he needs to be now. He was good at round 1, but didn't work out for him yesterday, but much better start today, and he's right in the thick of the action at the moment. So good to see him up there for some podium positions at the moment.
Confirmation, Gupita Krishna is out as Warren Wello makes his way to the front as they come into the hairpin. As Warren Wello is just forced slightly wide. A little bit of contact there. Richard Taroa just forcing his compatriot out wide as well. Fazli Sham taking a unique line on the 1XOX, but it's not the quickest line. And coming through instead is Effendi Rosley in that vivid orange livery. Effendi Rosley is leading, but he's got the Uma Racing alongside of him. Akid Aziz it is who leads. The pack bunching and just battling for any little bit of breathing space they can get.
I tell you what, I'm liking the look of Effendi Rosley at the moment. He's been up the front more than not, so he's looking very strong out there at the moment. Good to see him. Fazli Sham is there as well. Is it Zaidi, the man who finished 2nd in last year's championship? Oh, we've got a faller in the back of the pack there, Des. Someone's down. I can't see the number of that bike, but not happy with himself.
Really frustrated as he races through to try to get back up. Might have been Richard Thoreau. I'll have a look at that in just a moment. But as they're coming through,
McKinley Carl-Paz is up there, and Zet Zaidi just goes straight to the front there. It was a really good dive up the inside for him. And the number 38 machine is involved in this. Warren Wello as well. He's always a strong racer and can be up near the front. But once again, how many are in this leading group? It's virtually the whole pack.
Well, as they go through, there is less than a second between 1 and 8, less than 1.5 seconds between 1 through to 14. McKinley Carl-Paz led at the end of lap 1. He's 12th at the end of lap 2. Adib Rosley is the man who leads on bike number 18. Yeah,
good to see Adib Rosley out the front at the moment, but he knows that he's about to be eaten up. Just saw the number 18 there, Azit Zaidi, just take his hand off the handlebars to say, follow me, playing some games there, and there is that fallen rider. Of course, that is Fitri Ashram Razali. His day is over.
Certainly is. Warren Wello leads, but McKinley Carl-Paz is just trying to get on the inside, as is Akid Aziz. Ahmed Fazli Sham inside that little group as well. Bike 18 is Adib Rosley. There he is on the right. He takes Wayu Aji Trilaksana with him, using the full width of the track as well they might, and then they funnel into a single Wayu Aji leads coming into this left-hand corner.
Oh, got an issue there. One of the riders, you know what that was for? Can't see the number. I'm not sure who that was. They may have got caught up in an incident there, but ran off the track, put his hand up to say, look, I'm on the green, I'm going to drop back a spot, so hopefully won't get penalised for that.
I think it was Warren Wello.
Could have been.
The yellow livery is easily done right. Ahmed Fazli Sham is once again got himself into this leading pack.
Let's have a look there, around the outside, just watch that yellow bike. Oh, yeah, taken out, that's what he was. It was 3 bikes bumping together, so that wasn't, I'm sorry, that was, hey, what do you think you're doing?
Steve Martin in the analyst chair for today, and leading the way is Wayo Ajitrilaksana, taking Ahmed Fazli Sham alongside with him. Going very, very wide is Adib Rosley, in fact, possibly into the pits for Adib Rosley.
Yeah, Adib Rosley's got a ride-through penalty that he has to deal with from yesterday. He was actually pulled up for dangerous riding, so unfortunately for him, he's got to live with this ride-through penalty.
And also out there is Fitri Atraf Razali from the Cardinals racing team. His day is over, but there is plenty still left on the track. A hug of consolation for Fitri Ashraf. Back on the track though, Ahmed Fazli Sham is leading alongside Akid Aziz, who's looking for a double win here at Buriram. But there's plenty of competition for him with McKinley Kalpaz, extreme right of your screen. Ahmed Fazli Sham it is, who just hunkers down, but he's moved into second place. There's the ride-through penalty for Adib Rosley.
Yep, just got to be sure. I spoke to him before he did this race earlier on today, and I said, well, make sure you do not speed in the pit lane, because if he sped in the pit lane, he'd get another ride-through penalty. So let's hope that he kept everything under control. Oh, off the track there. Was that Warren Wello?
Once again, we've got 10 riders literally across the full width. Cheryl Amin has joined in as well. We don't mention Cheryl too much. Bike number 199 in the yellow in the middle of that pack. There he is in P3, just moving Ahmed Fazli Sham out of the podium positions, but this is going to be incredibly chaotic coming into notorious corner 12 on the last lap.
Well, absolutely. We've only got 3 laps to go in this one, and I think it might have been Cheryl Amin who took to the grass a little bit earlier on, but good to see him towards the front of this one at the moment. It is a battle royale, and I guess the people with most to lose, Kid Aziz, like you said, he wants to try and get that double win. Doesn't happen very often in this class though, Des.
McKinley Kalpaz from the Philippines, the championship leader, is the current race leader, but not for long, because going outside is why Ajitrilaksana. Akid has a look on the inside, so Akid on the inside, McKinley on the outside. Warren Wello forces Akid wide. Look as they come through with 2 laps to go. It's Wayo Ajitrilaksana from McKinley Kalpaz. Charles Amin and Mazzato is up there with Akid Aziz in 5th. And that was with 3 laps to go. Wow.
11 people in 0.1 of a second over the line that time. That is absolutely incredible. How close do you like it? And there's the top 17 in this lead group. So basically, some of these guys are going to finish less than a second from the win and not even score any points.
Including Gun Mi, who's rarely a part of the leading group. 17th and all, but just 1.5 seconds down. It might be too far away to be able to make a move, but the likes of Richie Turo, Razaiman, Mohammed Said and Aldi Satya in 12th, 13th and 14th, they are still very much in this race. It's a sprint for the line, a 1.5 lap sprint for the line.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be, and it's going to be very, very hectic. Of course, these riders need to be careful. They're not allowed to swerve around too much because they will be looked at. So you've got to pretty much hold your line or they will be penalised. And that was what Adib Rosley was penalised for earlier on. So they're going to have to be clean, but you know what? When you're out there with a couple of laps to go, it's very, very difficult for these young guys.
How there is not more contact amongst those riders, because they are literally 7, 8, 9, 10 bikes abreast. Leading the way is Akid Aziz. Hazik is in there as well. Is that McKinley Kalpaz retaking the lead? Hazik second, McKinley Kalpaz is leading. Looking good for Uma Racing, but Uma Racing Philippines and Uma Racing Malaysia, very, very different teams.
Shirel Amin, what a great job for him too on the S&D Factory Racing Rapido machine. Good to see him. We don't talk about him, like you said, too much, but he's certainly on top of things at the moment. 5 or 6 wide as they head in for the second last time into this final corner here.
Jockeying for position. Richard Tarora's got himself into a decent position, but leading over the line for the last time is Akid Aziz. Tarora second, Aldi Satya, Hazik, McKinley Kalpaz, Sharrell Amin, Ahmed Fazli Sham in the top 7. 0.87 between 1 and 9.
Well, Richard Tarora's got himself exactly where he needs to be at the front of the pack, but still with 2 or 3 bikes in front of him to get the slipstream. Keep an eye on the number 179. If he gets it right, he should pull out of that slipstream at the end of this straight and lead into that final, well, turn 3 is what we call it.
McKinley Kalpaz takes a different line from everybody else. Ahmed Fazli Sham follows him as they come into the hairpin for the last time. We are on the last lap of the 6-lap sprint. McKinley Kalpaz from the Philippines leads and has a big look over his shoulder. Come on, boys, let's make a race of this.
Not much point looking over your shoulder there. There is McKinley Kalpaz is just to the right of screen there. 3 or 4 abreast. Sharrell Amin's up there too. They're all there. Dib Rosley's there as well. Effendi Rosley, sorry.
Yeah, Effendi Rosley in the orange. We haven't mentioned him for a little while, but he's there on the left-hand side of that little pack, maybe P7 or P8, halfway through the final lap, looking forward to the person who is bravest, who can break last when it comes to corner 12. But look at that, a break from Ahmed Fazli Sham. And he's got himself a healthy lead, Ahmed Fazli Sham. Can he hold on to it? Wayuaji Chilaksana is behind him, but Ahmed Fazli Sham is the leader.
That's an incredible ride by him. He's pulled out just enough of a gap at the moment, at the critical part of the racetrack. If he can pull this off now and just keep that gap up, which it looks like he's going to be able to do. Everybody else is battling amongst themselves too much, which is allowing the number 46 to get a great run out of that corner and into the turn 12. He's got a big lead there, but the slipstream effect is coming in now. He's in the perfect positioning. He's got to watch up out the inside. He's braked late. Has he braked too late? He pulls it off. A few wide. Oh, there's a couple gone down. Effendi Rosley, one of those riders, but look at him, he's over the line, and it is Ahmed Fazli Sham who takes the win from Wawanwelo.
Wayu Nugroho third, Wayu Aji Chilaksana fourth. There is medical retreatment required. You can see the medics racing on. Again, the carnage is the only word I can think of for what goes on in corner 12. Up at the front end, Pinapeng Lubengpong has got himself into P6. Fai Sekri Hazik Farouz started from pole. He finishes on 8th. The stretchers are out, and there was an awkward one there where one rider got himself caught up in a bike as they came together on that notorious corner 12.
Yeah, boy, I wouldn't want to be an official looking at this one, but there's just so much action to be had. But what a great ride from Ahmed Fazli Sham, Wawanwelo and Wayu Nugroho. It's really good to see Wayu Trilaksana up there as well, which was great. I'll tell you, McKinley Kalpaz didn't have a good race, neither did Akid Aziz. Both of those guys got way back down in the pack in 11th and 14th positions. So yesterday's winner, not where he wanted to be today.
Gunmi picking up at season best 10th place. Kyle Paz, as you said, 11th. Admiral Arif Musa 12th. Sharrell Amin, who we spoke about so often, ending up 13th. Akid 14th. Agung, the last of the point scorers.
Oh, look at that for a wheelie.
Ahmed Fazli Sham, that's what it does, and that's in the pit lane.
Yeah, we'll need some medics in the pit lane too, with the excitement of watching a race like that. Can you imagine being the team and having to deal with that every race weekend? 1 minute you can win, the next minute you're 14th or 15th. That is the way that this class works, and what a deserved winner. Ahmed Fazli Sham, I tell you now, Des, this is the slowest lap, but probably the best lap that he's going to do today.
And it's a popular winner as well. Ahmed Fazli Sham is one of the veterans, 36 years of age. These are the official results. Ahmed Fazli from Wawanwelo, Wayu Nugroho and Wayu Aji Trilaksana, Richie Taroa. It's an Indonesia 2 through 5. The best of the ties, Pinapong Lubengpong, team 141.639 adrift of them. Fai Zekri Sebri and Hazik Farouz making 3 Malaysians in the top 8. Razaiman Mohammed Saeed from the Cardinals Racing Team, 2 seconds down. Gunmi, good result for Gunmi in 10th position. McKinley Kalpaz will pick up points, picked up points in both races this weekend, but maybe not as many points as they would have liked. The point scorers down to Agung Fakril. Out of the points, just out of the points, was Shah Karil Hisham. the United Oil teammate. The other finishers, Ayman Azman, Mohamed Murabil Vitoni, Adib Rosli, who had the ride-through penalty. Mazzato, a pointless weekend for Fernando Mazzato, who was in the leading group, obviously caught up in the mayhem at the back of the last straight. Aldi Satya also caught up. Vutam, Effendi Rosli, and Luth Harith Irwan completing the top 24. Effendi and Luth Harith actually won, not competing the race. But this man did. First points of the season for Ahmed Fazli Sham.
Well, there's no better points to get than 25, which is what you get for the win. So really good to see. And look how happy they are. What a brilliant result for them. Boy, 25 points worth getting, don't you think?
Wow, that's a celebration.
They might have to put some new suspension on that bike for the next round.
And I'm looking forward to his interview when Wheeling eventually calms him down. His team manager is absolutely thrilled to bits. And I think we can have a look at the highlights of how we run this shortened race. Okay, let's not forget that we had a false start. Well, we had a crash that took out 3 riders at the very start.
Yeah, and, it looks like this could be
this is the second start.
Yeah, just a little bit of news on those other riders as well. More news has come through that they are generally okay. There could be a couple of small issues that they need, a couple of small fractures that need to be repaired, but generally all the riders are good, so that's good news.
Lousy weekend for Gubita Kreshna, former champion, has not really been able to get involved in the points today, and we were looking at Effendi Rosli, third yesterday and looking very confident. But Ahmed Fazli Sham, even from this early stage as the racers, as they carry on sliding, I love the reaction to that rider as he goes out annoyed with himself. But Ahmed Fazli Sham was absolutely determined to improve his dreadful season so far. Contact galore in this 6-lap sprint.
Yeah, it certainly was. There wasn't a lot of time with this 6-lap sprint for these riders to muck around. They had to get near the front. This Costa did Rosli dearly, taking any chance of victory or podium away from him. That ride-through penalty, hopefully he learns, and he won't be doing that next round out in Suzuka.
Uma Racing were in a lot of good positions. They had the race winner from yesterday, Akid Aziz. They had the pole sitter, Hazik Farouz. They had the championship leader, McKinley Kalpaz. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, he just pulled away, did Ahmed Fazli Sham. And in the end, it's quite a comfortable victory. To win by nearly half a second in Underbone 150cc is not something you see too often.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job by him.
So celebrations for Ahmed Fazli Sham. You saw a little bit of carnage behind. We'll find out absolute details about that. But let's go down to Wheeling and let's have a see on the podium. Wheeling is our MC for the day.
We'll begin the podium ceremony for the Underbone 150cc race 2. Coming third place today, Wahyu Nugroho from Yamaha Racing, Indonesia. And in second place, Wawan Welo from SND Factory Racing, Rapido. And today's race winner, Ahmed Fazli Sham from 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team. Also like to invite the team manager from 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team to join the riders on the podium. We will now stand for the national anthem of Malaysia. invite Mr. Yusuke Mochizuki, the president of Dunlop Tire Thailand, to present the riders with their trophies. Coming in third place today, Indonesian rider Wahyu Nugroho from Yamaha Racing Indonesia.
โพเดียมอันดับที่ 3 ครับนักแข่งอินโดนีเซียวายูนูโกรโฮ
In second place today, Indonesian rider Wawan Welo from SND Factory Racing Rapido.
โพเดียมอันดับที่ 2 นักแข่งจากอินโดนีเซียเช่นกันครับวาวานเวลโล
And today's race 2 winner, Malaysian rider Ahmad Fazli Sham from 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team.
และเจ้าของวินเนอร์โพเดียมครับจากประเทศมาเลเซียครับอามัดฟาซิลชาม
And the best team award goes to 1XOX TKKR SAG Racing Team.
Our thanks to Yosuke Mochizuki, the president of Dunlop Tires in Thailand, for handing out the prizes. Well, it was dramatic from where we started to the victory for the team award, the 1XOX team. There was an awful lot of incidents. We had a red flag at the start. We had 3 riders injured, thankfully all okay. We then had a 6-lap sprint that ended with carnage on the final lap. But Ahmed Fazli Sham picking up his first victory of the season, his first points of the season. Wawanwelo once again in the points. That's his first podium, but he's picked up points in every single race so far this year. And Wahyu Nugroho picking up 3rd place with Wahyu Ajitrilaksana. What it means is that McKinley Cowpaz's lead at the top of the standings has been reduced to just 6 points ahead of Wawanwelo. Effendi Rosley onto 44 points. Akid Aziz, who won yesterday, only picked up 2 points this afternoon on 43. Mazato, a pointless weekend. Richie Taro picking up points in both races in 6th on 36. Pitapong, the top of the ties on Team One for All, in 7th place. And Wahyu Nugroho in 3rd place today moves on to 32. Hazik Farus on pole, but unable to pick up a significant number of points today. In 8th position today for 32 points. Amal Amarif Musa and Ahmed Fazli Sham, as you see, his first 25 points of the season move him into the top 11. Wahyu Ajitrilaksana, 22 points. Gunmi, delighted for Gunmi, moving on to 19. Faiz Zekri, Aldi Satya and Murabil completing the top 16. Phew. And we can take a little bit of a break. Only 2 minutes though, because when we come back, we've got the second of the 4 competitive races coming your way. After the break at the Idemitsu Asia Road Racing Championship, we've got the Asia Production 250cc. Don't go too far away. This is the Chang International Circuit. We'll be back with you in a couple of minutes' time.